So, um, as we do the last Friday of the month, we come on and we share a little meditative word, a little word that we believe that God imparts into us for our journey. And sometimes it's like catered directly towards wives or women or marriages or whatever. But whatever it is, we know that we can take a little bit of it and use it um, continuously into our lives. And so I just want to share with you what the Lord has shared with me. And He has been talking to me or made me aware of something. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'm aware of this, or maybe this stays in my heart because I'm supposed to share it with someone else. Y'all, I see the little freezing, but of course technology is like that, right, Mom? Me and my mother was just talking about that. So just bear with us and stay on with us. Share, enjoy what God allowed us to be able to do. So anyway, I was going back into what God has given me, and today my topic is visibility without accessibility. Visibility without accessibility. And this is something, it's almost kind of I don't know, it's questionable, because I believe that everyone is going to have their way of how they feel about it. And I'm just going to give you what I believe that the Lord is imparting into us now. And I think that so many times that as you age, as you have experiences in life, your needs change, your goals change, your options change, right? And so a lot of things that we are dealing with just comes from growth, right? It comes from growth, and then you make a decision based on that, and then you get to decide how you move forward. And so this here, visibility without accessibility, was really something deep. And I'm just going to go through a couple things. I do not want to preach, although I will preach. And I do not want to be long, although once we get to talking about the Lord and His principles and us just living a better life, it does make you want to talk about it a while. So I pray that you stick with me. Okay, so first of all, visibility is the state of being able to see or be seen, right? Okay, so it also says the degree to which something has attracted general attention. And one of the things also says prominence. Now, I know what that means. I don't want us to look at at us being visible as we're prominent people. But we are people that are seen, and we are people that others may pay attention to, right? Accessibility is this: the quality of being able to be reached or entered. The quality of being easy to obtain or use. And so I want y'all to go with me. So here we go. We say visibility without accessibility. So being able to be seen without necessarily being able to be used or always available, always reachable, always entered into. And today I do think that that is important, especially because we have social media, videos, just everything is done electronically, besides the things that we do in person, right? And so often you are being seen not just by your regular group of people. You are being seen by more than you can imagine, right? You may think, oh, I'm insignificant, I don't matter, my family don't matter, or my role don't matter, my situation doesn't matter. But I'm telling you, that it does. And somebody is watching. Somebody is watching. With being seen, though, there also comes something where there is accessibility. And so when I was thinking about this, I thought about the fact that, like, we'll go to a concert, or we'll go and see a celebrity, or go to an event, or even go to a church, go to a community, whatever, and we'll see what we see. But we don't have access to the back room. We don't have access to that person directly. Yet, we appreciate what they bring. We appreciate it. There are times when people feel like, oh, I need to get to my pastor, or, oh, I need to, I want to pay for a VIP pass to see my favorite celebrity. And there are times for that, but most of the time, you are engaging or experiencing what they're providing, and not necessarily looking for anything in return in regards to the connection or being accessible to them. You don't want to go home with them. You're not trying to talk on the phone with them. You're not trying to be best friends. You're not trying to do any of that. You are just appreciating what God has allowed them to be able to impart into a particular experience. And so I thought about this in our lives, especially in our marriages, in our homes. Y'all, we have to be reminded that we can be visible, but we do not have to allow access. I think that is so, so important. You can be visible without allowing access. Now, I understand that we need someone to talk to, or we love to be transparent. I hear that so much. But even transparent ain't true transparency. You ain't telling everything. And we can't see everything. So even with that, we really have to be mindful of the fact that people having access to certain things in our lives is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. I looked at this and I said, so many times we are manipulated, or we're made to feel guilty if we don't allow people into certain spaces, right? So I move, right? I move into a different home. Well, just because I moved into a different home doesn't mean that I have to open up my home to everyone. It doesn't mean that. You don't either. There is still a fact that, wow, like I got neighbors next door. I got neighbors across the, well, not next door, because we really don't have anybody close right next door to us, but I have a neighbor across the street. Now, they visibly see that I moved here, but they don't get access into my home. You get what I'm saying? And so it's important for them to know who's in their neighborhood. They want to know who lives across the street. Okay, I want to make sure that they don't cause any trouble. I want to introduce myself or what have you. But you don't get to come into my home unless I invite you. Y'all, same thing with our lives, with our relationships, in our marriage, in our business. Yeah, you get to see us, me and my husband, be together. You get to see us smile on a picture every now and then. You get to see us as we're in the grocery store. We say hi, you say hi, all of that. But we don't, we do ourselves a disservice when we invite you into our personal business. Because the truth be told, you don't want to know that. You don't want to know that. You don't want to know how I act when I first get up. That ain't something that you're thinking about. You don't want to know the different what do you call it? Discussions that we may have, intense fellowships that we have. You don't want to know that, nor do you need to know that. You don't want to know all the things that turn me on or float my boat or make me happy. You don't need to know that. Neither does Oh, okay, you can see the screen, but limited access. I do not know what's going on here. Um, but we don't need to know that. And I want to encourage us that it's okay to cut down the access, right? And I'll tell you this. Most people that want access into your lives, or most people that feel entitled to be in your business, most people that feel like you should share, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And so you have to be wise about your business. You have to have stewardship of what God has given you. You have to know what is okay for exposure, what is okay for privacy. That's the most important thing in our marriage. And I believe that so many times relationships fall apart because there's just too much exposure. I want to share about the relationship with Devon Franklin and Megan Good, right? I don't know if you guys know, Devon Franklin, Megan Good, they filed for divorce. Now, this is the couple that wrote the book called The Wait, right? They wrote this book because they waited to have sex before they got married. And in many of their interviews, they talked about how, especially Megan Good, she talked about how, you know, she waited for her husband. She knew that Devon was the one, Devon, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his name. She knew that he was the one for her or what have you. And Devon is, I believe he's a preacher, a minister in the Latter-day Saints church. I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on that, but I know he is a minister. And so when they got together, it seemed like an unholy alliance. It seemed like, what do they say? Unequally yoked. And people spoke ill of them. And then as they went along in their marriage, people began to honor and respect them, right? And so, if you know Megan Good, she's an actress, and if you know some of her work, sometimes it could get a little illicit. But I mean, that's her job. I'm not knocking her. I mean, do what you have to do. And then also for Devon Franklin, who is a minister. He's a producer and all of that, but he's also a minister. So outwardly, he looks like the wholesome one, and she looks like Rahab. You hear what I'm saying? And so just this past month or what have you, sometime in December, they announced that they filed for divorce. And I believe they've been married like 8 to 9 years or what have you. And so everyone has their take on their relationship. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is, who was in it? It's just, it's a part of their relationship. But what brings this forward, or what makes me want to talk about this more, is the thing of visibility without accessibility. And sometimes we open ourselves up to unnecessary, unfair, undeserved, and not accurate commentary when we put too much out, right? When we put too much out. Now, they are celebrities and they are people in the limelight. They're public, right? And so part of them is going to be more exposed than normal. But I wonder sometimes what the weight of that did to their relationship. So even though, they're in a marriage, can they really, work on their stuff without worrying about who's looking or what somebody got to say? Can they really, whatever? Is it worth it? Did they have to try to prove something sometimes just because everybody is looking? There is a weight that comes with accessibility. And in my notes, I put on here and I said, can we afford what it takes to be accessible? I was reading about accessibility and the dangers of it. And one thing it says is it can affect your mental health, like if you don't handle it right. And so being accessible, whether you're a leader, whether you're a mentor, whether you're a girlfriend, whatever you are, being too accessible can have an effect on your mental health. And just think about it when you add in your marriage, or when you add in your situation, your storm, or all of your business. Think about what that can do to you. You can be visible, but you don't always have to be accessible. The Bible says we ought to be like a light, right? Sitting on a hill so that others can see it, what have you. Now look at this. We are light, so somebody's gonna see us. But guess where we're at? We are sitting on a hill. And so if I'm a light and I'm sitting on a hill, you have to work or climb or make an effort to get closer to me. But it doesn't mean that you don't see my light. You see what I'm saying? And so I do my work when I make sure that I live a life of integrity. I make sure I represent well. But I do not owe everyone the opportunity to be in my holies of holies, in my innermost. I don't owe that. And no matter who you are, you don't owe anybody that. And it is such pressure on your relationship. And I've seen it so many times when, especially, you know, in marriages or whatever, we're pouring out so much and we're saying so much. Then when you go through, you can't really go through. Because everybody in your business. So everybody going to tell you what they thinking. Everybody, you know, somebody is taking sides. And somebody decides, you know, how you should move. And then not only are you making decisions for just you and your spouse, or you and your family, or you and your business. Now you're making decisions based on how it look or what the people going to say. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. Take back your accessibility. And you have to know this. You know, I want to encourage women, wives. We have to be wise, and we have to know what we're getting into when we begin to open up. There's ways that you can talk about things without talking about things. There's ways that you can share things without oversharing. And most men don't like their business out like that anyway, unless they, you know, unless it makes them look great, or or, you know, unless there is some advantage to it. But most of the time you don't win. And even if it means that people get to create their own commentary about you, it's okay, because you know the truth. You know the truth. And one thing I wanted to say too, that even for those who had accessibility to you, seasons change. And it's okay. Sometimes this is a season where you're in my circle. Not just my outer circle, because I believe we should be kind to everyone. I believe that there is a certain due diligence that we owe people just by being human beings. Definitely people in ministry, you have to give a little bit of yourself. Definitely within, you know, your friends or what have you. I get it. But I think you need to guard that. And you need to be mindful of that, because accessibility can be abused. And I tell you this, once you abuse that, I'm not going to hate you, and I'm not going to wish bad on you, but I will remove the access pass, right? I will remove the access pass, because it's so important that we guard what God gave us. We guard it. Now it says it affects your mental health. When you begin to open up access, one thing you have to look at: time and trust. How much time have you had with the people around you? How much time has been put in? Have you built up trust? Just because of who they are, or what they represent, or who they're connected to, that does not mean that they are entitled to your space. It does not mean that. And don't get caught up in names and positions and opportunities and expose the things that have so much value to you. Because I tell you this, once you pull the covers off, you can put them back on, but the covers is off. So now we know what's under the covers. And are you really ready to deal with or talk about or defend what's under the covers? So yeah, that's the thing. It says also, too much availability loses the importance. Now, I like Beyonce. I do. I like her. I liked Jada Pinkett Smith. Liked her. She was one of my people that I would have loved to have met. But guess what? Too much access into her life, and for Jada Pinkett Smith, and just overexposure. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. You know, I'm good. I don't want to be connected to that. How about that? Now with Beyonce, I don't want to know her business. I don't want to know her like that. I don't want to be her best friend. I'm just proud of her for what she does. Keep doing your thing. Keep taking care of your family. Keep living your life or whatever. I don't know if I can handle all that will come out in regards to you. Right? You guys, we are just as important. We are just as valuable. We don't have to put all our business on the street. We don't have to let everybody in to our lives. We don't have to let them in like that. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that you care enough about what you have to guard it. And so often, sometimes you see people popping off or going off or checking people or getting everybody straight who may have done something to you. And it's done on social media. And I get it. Oh my God. There have been so many times I want to say, listen, you really don't want the truth. Or, listen, I really could get you together. I really could tell you what you don't want to know. I really could lay into you. But do I really want to expose that part of me to somebody that may not be worth it? Because you can't take it back. You cannot take it back. And so knowing how much access to put into your visibility is about wisdom. It's about integrity. It's about maturity. It's about value. That's what it's all about. And we have to guard that with our lives. I'm going to give you this scripture because I want you to know that even God, even Jesus said, listen, we have a boundary. It's John 14:6. And Jesus said unto him, I am the way, my God, the truth and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. And so, you know, we hear people talk about God, I thank God, and God is this and God is that. Now, they may know of God. They may see God move and have visibility of God's works or what have you. But everybody is not connected to God. Everybody don't have access to the Lord. And let me tell you, Jesus made it so clear. He said, let me tell you how you get to my God. How you get to the Father. You got to go through me. You got to go through me. I give you the VIP access pass. I open the door for you to get to God. I do that. And you can't skip steps in order to get to me. And if God and Jesus loved us enough, right? And he came for us, and he tell us that we can be like him, and God favors us, and he takes care of us, and we have a relationship with him. Why wouldn't we take care of ourselves that same way? Why wouldn't we guard ourselves that same way? There is a process to get to me. There is a process that for you to get to me. There's a process for me to get to you. There's a young lady I've known for years, right? And we say hi, we say bye. You know, it's, common courtesy or what have you. But it was just within the last few months that we've gotten access to one another in a deeper way. I couldn't have got that just by me being Shelon and her being who she is. There had to be something built up there. There had to be opportunity. And then there had to be allowance for that access to take place. Hey, Sel, it had to be that. You just don't get to step into my space. And I don't get to step into your space. We can't tell it all. And I understand. Your testimony is amazing. You still need to tell your testimony in wisdom. Your storm was great. You still need to talk about your storm with wisdom. Your marriage is amazing. But you still have to talk about that marriage with wisdom. We don't have to let everybody in. They don't get to come in. And so the last thing I want to say is, don't let outside influences manipulate you. Right? Woo, this one is deep. You have to make sure that you don't let people make you feel guilty because they don't get to be in a certain space that they want to be in with you. You got to guard you first. Your mental health matters. Your relational health matters. Your spiritual health matters. All of those things matter. And I think sometimes, I believe sometimes, we're oversharing. We feel people are overly entitled, or they feel entitled because they may have influence, or because they have known you a certain amount of time, or because who they think they are, that they get a right to speak into your life. They get a right to be in your life. They get a right to tell you the decisions you need to make. They get a right to do all. You don't. You don't. Listen, I'm visible. You're visible. We can be present. We can be that light sitting out on the hill. But trust me, we are on a hill. And in order to get up to my light, you got to climb. It's going to be some access. It's going to be some work to do that. And trust this. Sometimes I want to encourage you, don't even try it. Don't climb this hill, because I don't want you to get to this light. Don't do that. I want to be a good light, but I don't have to let you in. I don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And I tell you, your life will be better. And even though it may be uncomfortable in the beginning, people will honor and respect your stance. I like when my mom says, watch out for the OPV, other people's voices. You have to watch out for that. You have to be careful, because with a lot of access comes a lot of influence, comes a lot of opinions, comes a lot of, to be honest, insecurities. Because now you got all these people here, you almost kind of miss what you're doing, because you got all these people here, and now you got to make sure they okay. You got to make sure they're happy, and you got to make the decisions that are best for them too. And so you have to, Mom says, stay on the hill. You're right. You have to stay on the hill. Be a light. Don't let your light dim. Right? Don't do that. But be on the hill. And trust me, if you stay on the hill, everybody ain't gonna work that hard to climb up there anyway. They just gonna be like, hey, that's her light. Shine on. And that's good. And that's good. So I just wanted to drop that in your spirit, especially as we go into the new year. We don't have to be so accessible. I get to say no. I mean, say no in love, say no in kindness. Make sure you're not saying no out of the wrong reasons. But you can say no. No, I don't want to come to that event. I don't think that's going to be best for me right now. I don't think that works in my favor right now. We have to be willing to do that. I don't think that I'm going to be able to be a part of this right now. And if something going on in your life, you don't have to share everything. You don't have to share everything. When I was working on this journal, did I tell you I put a journal together? Anyway, when I was working on this journal in July, I believe it was June or July, because we put it out in August. I didn't really tell anybody I was working on that. And I believe I have good friends. I have, my family is amazing. I have that. But I needed to get all I can without having the influence or the OPV, other people's voices in my ear, because I needed to write what I believe that God was saying. And sometimes when we allow so much access, it begins to affect how we function, how we move, what we say. And we don't even realize that other people's thoughts, their opinions have infiltrated us. It happens. You know, every now and then, like if you're around somebody enough, right, you'll pick up their ways. If you're around someone enough, you know, and they say certain things, you'll begin to say it. That's what happens all the time. We hear something continuously, then we begin to use it. Your relationship, your marriage, baby, you need to keep that visible but inaccessible. Nobody gets to do that. I know of somebody who, she was telling me that they, you know, her and her husband, it's so funny. Her and her husband was going to dinner, right? And they were getting ready to go to dinner or whatever, and they're leaving church. And someone, a lady, you know, she was like, hey, what y'all doing? And so she was like, I'm going to dinner. You know, me and my man, she said, me and my man, we going to dinner. Oh, where y'all going? Hello? Hey, why? She was like, why? Oh, because I'm hungry too. I could go get something to eat. And before she said, me and my man going to dinner. And we don't take nobody with us. On this day, we go to dinner and we go by ourselves. So they were visible. That person saw them, but you didn't get to have access. You could not go. Now, does that mean that the person that said no was bad? No, it doesn't mean that. But it does mean that she set a boundary that next time that person won't ask that. And then that don't mean that they're not friends anymore. Don't let outside influences manipulate you into thinking that you owe them you. I had to tell somebody the other day, things have changed. Like, we don't deal like that no more. Don't mean nothing bad. Don't mean I don't love you. Don't mean, but we don't deal like that anymore. And it's okay. Hate it happened, but we don't do that anymore. And I love that person. And I hate that, but I mean, we have to do that. You have to guard your access. And so I just wanted to drop that in your spirit. And just let you know, now you get to do what you want to do. You can open up everything. You know, you can be transparent. You can put your marriage out on all your business about your marriage out, all your business about your relationships, even your kids or what have you. You can do that, but there is a cost with that. And so my encouragement to you is to know that you can afford what comes with accessibility. And you still have a responsibility to be visible. Be visible. Be that light. Be a person of integrity. Be an example. You know, show God's greatness. But we do not have to open up and let everybody in that way. We do them a disservice and ourselves. Because one thing I've learned, and I've heard it spoken so often, hey, Miss Felicia, I miss you. I was thinking about you. You are in my prayer for some reason. I love you. One thing that I know is that sometimes people can't handle what they see. And so then we may throw them off if we let them see too much, let them know too much. I know there's times when, you know, you have meetings and you can't talk about everything that came out that meeting. You can't talk about every table, talk about the things that you've talked about at every table you sit at. You can't share every single thing with even the people that you care about, because everybody can't handle it. Be visible. Guard your access. And even while you're visible, Make sure you're mindful of what you let people see. Make sure you are mindful of what you let people see. You guys, I am excited and more so privileged about what the new year is going to bring for all of us, because we didn't have to make it. We didn't. I just believe, my God, that when we begin to guard our access, it'll be less responsibility to please others, and we can work on ourselves. See, what you don't know, I don't have to worry about adjusting it every time I see you, because you don't know nothing about that. You get what I'm saying? And I get to spend time working on those things, or enjoying those things, or just embracing those things without having the extra weight of, oh my God, they know that. Well, how do I deal with that? How do I feel about that? Well, how are they going to feel? Who has time for that? God said, and I say this all the time, this is the mission. This is what 25 to life is hanging on. Is God came that we might have life, and that life more abundantly. We are not to be bound, not even by others. You definitely don't need to be bound by yourself, by your ills, your flaws, but you don't even want to be bound by others. So we have a responsibility to be careful about what we allow others to experience with us. I pray that blessed you. I do see that there was some connection errors. I don't even know what to do. I feel like calling Spectrum. But I pray, I just believe that God will allow the word and the lesson and the mission to supersede or to go past technical difficulties. I pray that you guys have a great start of the new year. I pray that you guys are healthy. I pray that you keep up with what 25 to Life is doing. And also WIFERSATIONS as a whole. Hey, Denise friend. I pray that you keep up with what we're doing. This is not the season to do a lot, but this is a season to have impact. Hear me. It's not the season to do a whole lot, but it is a season to have impact. And you need to have impact with you first. Begin with you. And then let it transcend to others. And in your marriage, and with your kids, especially your grown kids, y'all, because they paying attention. With your children, with your husband, and in your church, in your ministry, because everyone has a personal ministry. Everybody does. Because somebody is reading you like a Bible. Somebody's reading you like a Bible. So, yes, Mom, this is the season to have impact. Sometimes we're doing a whole lot, but not sure if we're having that same impact. It made me think about some things. And so I want to make sure I'm impactful. I want to make sure that I make use of my downtime. Lewis taught us that a long time ago. Are you taking advantage of your downtime? Are you enjoying this time that you have more with your spouse? Do you know there have been so many relationship breakups during this 2 years of pandemic? Why? Because people are having to be together without all the interruptions, right? And they have to get to know each other. And they may have found out either they don't like each other, or they don't want to tolerate what is about the other person, or they can't tolerate them on their own selves. And I don't want to say, walk out of your marriage. I don't necessarily think that that's the case. But I do believe that this is the time to really work on all of the relationships that matter to you. Be honest about some stuff. Spend some time talking to each other. Love on each other. And even in friendships, especially sister girls, ladies, y'all, some of us got a lot of friends. But are they impactful? Are they making a difference for us? Some friendships don't serve us anymore. That doesn't mean that you can't love people. That doesn't mean that you can't even be there for people. But a friendship is deeper. You know what I'm saying? The hanging out, the engagement, the certain kind of conversations, That's the kind of stuff that really matters. And after a certain time, certain things, it just don't work like that. And so as women, we got to be wise about all the access that have been put, that we have given out. Y'all, it's about our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health, our relational health. You can be visible without being accessible. And I'm not saying steal, hold your gift. I don't want nobody deep walking away talking about, hold your gift. She don't want to give no more. Because, that's been said before. She don't want to do this. It doesn't mean that. But there is a certain bit of accessibility that we have allowed people to be entitled to. It's not of God. It's not of God. I don't believe it is. Because we are allowing influence, opinions, all of those things to infiltrate who we are. And you're going to be best when you be you. This is going to be the best. When you make you know how good you feel like when you make your own decisions, you and the Lord done talked, or you and your spouse done got it together, and you make your own decision. There's a certain freedom with that. There's a certain freedom with that. So I pray that this blessed you. I pray that we start the new year strong. I look forward to other opportunities to share with you. I look to you being able to share with me. We want to start back doing some of our conversations where we include other people. Looks like we're going to have to do that virtual still, but we thank God for that. I think that if we pour into one another, God will bless us. God will bless us, and He will make the difference, because we want to be a light, right? We want to be a light. We want to set good examples. Listen here, missionaries. Stay on your mission. Wifersations is just for you. I love you so much. Y'all have an amazing, amazing day. Go out there and get all the things that you need to have an amazing start to your new year. I love you with the love of the Lord, and I thank you. I'm going to ask you, make sure that you're subscribed to this page. You also can go to 25ToLifeMinistries.com and become a subscriber to that. You also can go to YouTube, 25ToLife, and become a subscriber of that. We have a lot of content that we believe will bless you. You also can go to the Wifersations, the podcast, and subscribe to that. God is kind. And I'll tell you, oh, Jesus, let me just tell you this. You don't run out. God continues to pour. You don't run out. You're not finished. You're not done. And you still can be visible. But when you guard your access, then God has room to do more in you. He has room to do more in you. When we have too many people in our space, in our head, on our minds, God, we don't leave no room for God to do what He want to do. I love you, Jasper Mitchell. You know I do. We don't have no room for God to do what He needs to do, because now He got to go through all of those tunnels and those people and everything to get to us. Y'all, free yourself. Free yourself. Be an example. Be visible, but watch your accessibility. Cut down on being so accessible. Your mental health will thank you. Your spiritual health will thank you. Your physical health will thank you. Your husband will thank you. Your kids will thank you. You will thank you. You will thank you. All right, I love you. Y'all have a good one. All right, I see all of you, and I appreciate you. Hey, my friend, Miss Lisa. I appreciate you for joining in. Y'all, let's get together. Let's make up. Let's find out what some of the things that we want to discuss and bring to the forefront, because we're gonna live healthy lives. We're gonna live abundant lives in Jesus' name. All right, love you. Bye bye.